Hello friends, today we see design of piston, one more component of IC engine. So here is a systematic diagram of design of piston. Generally piston is divided into three portions, the top portion, top land portion, the middle portion, that is the ring section where the piston rings are connected, and the lower portion where the piston and pin it is connected with the connecting rod, that is the skirt portion. So what are the objective of the design, basically design of piston? To learn about the material used for the piston and piston components, which are the design consideration applicable for the design of piston and its components, and also to understand what are the design consideration and concepts applied to find out the dimension of piston and piston components to fulfill the functional requirement. So when we talking about the functions, so what are the different functions performed by the piston? It will transmit the force due to gas pressure inside the cylinder to the crankshaft. It will compresses the gas during the compression stroke. By piston rings, it will provide the seal inside the portion of cylinder for crankcase by means of piston rings. It takes the side thrust resulting from whatever the motion of connecting rod. At the same time, it will dissipate the large amount of heat from the combustion chamber towards the connecting rod. Now, which are the different parts and what are their functions we see. First part of the piston is the piston head, or it is also called as crown. This is the top portion of the piston which is withstand the gas pressure inside the cylinder. It is a flat and concave in shape. Next is the piston ring. We know that piston ring, it is working like a seal. It is also called as compression ring to avoid the leakage of the gas pass to the piston. Next is the oil scraper rings. It will prevent the leakage of lubricating oil pass to the piston into combustion chamber. Next is piston skirt. Skirt, it will act as a bearing surface for the side thrust, and piston pin is also connected to the connecting rod in the piston skirt portion. Next is the piston pin. It will connect the piston to the connecting rod. It is also called as Gajan pin, or maybe the wrist pin. It is working like our wrist. Now when we talking about the functions, next is when we go to the design, what are the design requirement for the piston? First, it should have sufficient strength to withstand the force due to combustion of fuel and also the inertia forces due to reciprocating parts. It should have sufficient rigidity to withstand thermal and mechanical distortion. It should have adequate capacity to dissipate the heat. At the same time, minimum weight to reduce the inertia force due to reciprocating motion. An efficient seal to prevent the leakage of flue gases, and also sufficient bearing area to take the side thrust and prevent the undue wear of the component. So let us see the first component, that is a piston head. How to design the piston head and how to calculate the dimension of piston head. So there are two criteria while calculating the sizes of the piston head. First is the strength criteria, and second one is the thermal criteria, that is the thermal consideration. So there are two types of piston head basically. One is the flat head, second one is the disc type piston, or maybe it is a cup type piston head. So according to strength consideration, that is a Gresham's formula is there. According to the Gresham's formula, the thickness of the top piston head is Th is equal to capital D under root 3 Pmax by 16 sigma b, where Th is nothing but the thickness of piston head, D is the cylinder bore diameter, Pmax maximum gas pressure rise, then sigma b, sigma is the bending stress. Now for Ci material it is 35 to 40 megapascal, and for aluminum alloy it is 50 to 90 megapascal. As we know that for the strength consideration, we know that the cast iron has more strength than the aluminum alloy. As the temperature increases, we know that the aluminum alloy piston decreases the rapidly its strength compared to the cast iron. And again, the wear strength of the cast iron piston is more than the aluminum alloy steel, but we know that aluminum will have a high coefficient of thermal expansion compared to the cast iron. Both the material it is used, it depends on our requirement. We use cast iron or maybe the aluminum alloy. Again, when we talking about the value, standard value generally 35 to 40 Newton per mm square when we using the cast iron. When we using aluminum alloy, 50 to 90 Newton per mm square. This in this range we select the value. It is not given. Then maximum gas pressure rise, we consider for the design it is 8 Newton per mm square, but generally we take 4 to 5 Newton per mm square for our calculation purpose. On the basis of heat dissipation, again we calculate the thickness, and the formula is again very simple. TH is equal to capital H by 12.56 into K into Tc minus T, that is Tc minus T, that is the temperature difference. K is the coefficient of thermal constant. H is nothing but amount of heat conducted. So again we can calculate the capital H, C into CH, SCV into M into BP. Again this is the formula we see in the IC engine, where C is the ratio of heat absorbed by the piston to the how much heat developed in the engine cylinder. Almost 5% heat is absorbed by the piston. So generally it is, the value of C is 0.05. M is mass of fuel used per BP per second. Then high calorific value, the HCV, it is for diesel, it is, we know, it is a 44,000. For petrol it is 47,000 kilojoule per kg. So again the temperature difference, it has a fixed range. Generally if it is grey cast iron, the difference is 220 degrees Celsius, and if it is aluminum alloy it is 75 degrees Celsius. So on the basis of these two criteria we calculate the thickness of piston head, and whichever is the larger value we select. Okay, next is the piston ribs and cups. We know that the rib is to increase the strength of piston against the gas pressure. We know that the large portion of the heat is absorbed by the piston head and it will transmit to the piston ring. So to provide the strength, to provide the support, we provide the rib from the inside portion. We know that the piston is the hollow portion, so rib is the supporting member to increase the rigidity and prevents the distortion of piston head. It will also help in distributing the side thrust more uniformly and prevents the distortion of the skirt. Again, what are the guidelines for the ribs? When the thickness of piston head, it is less than 6 mm, so it is very small size piston. Thickness of piston head is less than 6 mm, we never provide any rib. But when it is more than 6 mm, we provide the ribs, and then generally number of ribs are 4 to 6. Now how to calculate the thickness of rib? Again, it is 1/3 of piston head thickness or maybe 1/2 of piston head thickness. In between this we generally select the piston head rib thickness. This is the guideline for the value of piston rib. Next is the piston cup. Now we know that the piston cup means actually we increase the volume capacity or the capacity for the combustion of fuel. So it is the additional space it will give for the combustion of fuel. So provision of cup, it depends on how much is the volume capacity of combustion chamber. Again, guidelines for piston cup, when the ratio of L by D ratio, L means small l means it is a length of stroke, cylinder bore diameter. So L by D ratio it is less than 1.5, then we provide the cup. And if this ratio is more than 1.5, no cup is required, so then we use generally the flat head. Now how to calculate the value of the, or maybe the dimension of piston cup? So radius of piston cup, it is 0.7 of cylinder bore diameter. Okay, next component, it is the piston rings. The main function of piston rings to maintain the seal between the cylinder wall and the piston. Also transfer the heat from the piston head to the cylinder wall, so it will absorb the fluctuation in the side thrust. Again, in the piston rings, coil scraper ring is there also. It will provide the lubrication to the cylinder liner and it will reduce the friction losses also. Allow sufficient oil to move during the upward stroke, and at the same time if there is any excess oil, it will absorb during the downward stroke. when we talking about the material guidelines for design of piston rings, the material for piston rings generally grey cast iron, and it is chromium plated. Number of piston rings, generally the compression rings for automobile or maybe the aircraft engines, it is 3 to 4, and for stationary diesel engine we can take 5 to 7. Oil scraper rings, generally it is 1 to 3, in between 1 to 3 we generally take. Now when we find the dimensions for the piston rings, the radial width, it is again by simple formula, d under root 3 Pw by sigma t. We know that B is nothing but the radial width, small b, d is nothing but bore diameter, Pw it is allowable radial pressure on cylinder wall, as it is connected with the cylinder wall, so allowable radial pressure. Again, if the guideline is given, if the pressure value is not given, generally we assume in between 0.025 to 0.042 Newton per mm square. Next, sigma t, it is a permissible tensile stress for cast iron material. Generally this value it is in between 85 to 110 Newton per mm square we can take as per the guideline. So the axial thickness of the piston rings, and it is given by small h, and the h value is 0.7 of b to b. So the whatever the axial height or maybe the thickness of piston ring, it is almost equal to the radial thickness or up to 70% of it. So in between this we generally take the axial thickness. Minimum thickness of the piston ring, again one more criteria, d by 10 into z. So the whatever the minimum thickness and whatever the calculated axial thickness, if it is more than that then it is accepted. And again one more guideline is given, more number of thin rings than smaller number of thick rings. So when we provide smaller rings and they are more in number, that is better. Why it is better? So smaller ring, it will reduce the frictional losses and again wear of the surfaces. More number of thin rings have better sealing, occupy less piston length and increase the heat transfer area. So indirectly it will increase the heat transfer from the piston top to the cylinder. Now the gap between the three ends before assembly. Now see in the figure, first compression ring, second compression ring, then oil ring. The circle is there, small circle. So this small circle, it will indicate basically the gap between the free ends. So it is not a total ring portion, it is diagonally cut, and this gap before assembly it is 3.5 to 4b, that is the axial radial thickness. It is 3.5 times to 4 times of the radial thickness before assembly, and after assembly this gap should be less than 1 mm almost. So it is 0.0002d to 0.004d. So in between this value, the after assembly should be the gap at the free ends. Next, the distance from the top portion top of the piston to the first groove, that is h1. So this is the top land height basically, and it is taken as thickness of piston head or maybe 1.2 times the thickness of piston head. Distance two consecutive ring groove, that is h2, whatever the distance between the two consecutive ring grooves. So that is h2, it is 0.75 of h2 equal to h. So as we know, h is nothing but the axial thickness of piston ring. So it is 0.75 h to h. So whatever the axial thickness, almost same distance for the ring groove we can provide, that is h2. Next is the piston barrel. In the figure we see the piston barrel. Again, thickness of the piston barrel at the top portion means top end means at the ring grooves we see, that is T3, and that is again by this standard correlation from VB Bhandari we take, and that is 0.03d plus b plus 4.9. By this correlation we calculate the thickness of this top portion of the piston barrel, and at the lower end or maybe at the open end, that is a skirt end, we can say, that is T4, it is 0.25, means 25% of the top thickness or maybe up to 35% of the top thickness we take. Piston skirt, Now we know that whatever the side thrust, it is the first come on the piston skirt. So the length of piston skirt basically we calculate on the basis of side thrust. So when we talking about the side thrust, it is calculated by the formula mu into pi d square by 4 into P max. Again, side thrust is nothing but it is a bearing force again the whatever the gas pressure we can say or gas force. So this is pi d square by 4 into P max. It is nothing but it is a gas force actually. And PB is nothing but it is a bearing force or bearing pressure, basically allowable bearing pressure by the skirt material. And D is nothing but bore diameter. LS it is nothing but the length of skirt, and length of skirt we take in between 0.65 D to 0.8 D. Generally this is the guideline. By this formula we can calculate, but it is in between this. The total length of the piston, when we talking about the total length, again the top length, then length of the ring section, and the next one is the length of the skirt portion. The empirical relationship to calculate the length, it is again it is equal to bore diameter to the 1.5 times the bore diameter. Next part, it is the piston pin. We know that it is also called as gudgeon pin or wrist pin. Two types of connections between the piston pin and connecting rod. We know that full floating and semi floating, these are the two types. Full floating means your piston pin is free to move in both piston bosses, and see here in the figure the piston bosses and the middle portion is the small end of connecting rod, so it is free to move in both this portion. Or second is the semi floating piston pin, so it is either allowed to move with the piston bosses and fixed to the piston end, or maybe it is vice versa, it is allowed to move in the small end of connecting rod and it is fixed in the piston bosses. Generally the material for the piston pin is the carbon steel or alloy steel. See in the figure, generally the piston pin, it is fixed in the piston bosses and then small end. Again on the left side again there is a piston boss and it is fixed by the circlip on both the side. So here we see the circlip on both the ends, it is locked by the circlip. Now when we talking about the design of the piston pin, what are the considerations? So first is the bearing consideration. Now L1 is nothing but it is the length of small end or maybe the boss which is connected with the connecting rod, that is L1, and it is also almost 45% of whatever the bore diameter. So it is assumed that the length of pin in the connecting rod, that is bush in the connecting rod, it is 45% of the cylinder bore diameter. The outer diameter of piston pin is determined equating the forces acting on the piston and the resisting bearing force offered by the piston pin. So see here, whatever the force coming on the piston pin and whatever the resisting force, we equate both this thing, that is a bearing force, and whatever the force coming, that is we consider the gas force. So pi d square by 4 into P max, that is the gas force on the piston pin, and PB into D naught into L1. D naught is nothing but the outer diameter of piston pin as we consider the hollow pin generally. So D naught it is nothing but the outer diameter of piston pin. L1 we know that whatever the length of the piston pin in connecting rod, that is L1. So by this equating this formula we can calculate D naught basically, because we know P max. PB it is generally from the material we can take, or it is not given, it is we take 25 megapascal if it is not given. And D bore diameter, we can calculate the bore diameter initially by the different correlations available. Again the mean diameter of piston bosses we can calculate from the D naught, that is 1.4 D naught when it is a grey cast iron piston, and when it is a aluminum alloy piston then it is 1.5 D naught. Next is the bending consideration. Bending consideration, it is basically on the basis of bending moment. And when we consider the bending moment, we have to consider the central section. So here is in the figure, we see the central section XX, and we consider any one side. So the whatever the gas force that we consider P, and whatever the reaction, that is P by 2 on both the side at the piston bosses, and at the middle, that is a gas force we consider. Both have a reverse direction. Suppose we consider the half portion only, so bending moment we can consider P by 2 into L2 by 2. Now P by 2, as we consider the section XX, P by 2 into L2 by 2, this is whatever the reaction from the bottom, and equal and opposite, suppose we consider the vertical forces, the downward force is again, that is the load, again that is P by 2, as we consider only the half section in this. So again this P, it is only on this side, so it is P by 2 into L1 by 4. If we see here, it is P by 2 into L1 by 4. Now L2, when we calculate L2, it is D plus L1 by 2. By this correlation we calculate L2. From these two equations we can write the bending moment. It is PD by 8. And as we know that we have to calculate the bending stress, so sigma is nothing but m by z. Z is nothing but the section modulus, it is I by y. So we can calculate the y value, it is d naught by 2, and I, it is nothing but pi d naught raised to 4 minus di raised to 4 by 64. By this, using again this correlation, we can easily calculate sigma b. In this way we do the design for bending of piston pin. Now piston clearances in between 0.375 to 0.1875 mm, we take the piston clearances. The clearance between cylinder liner and piston is provided to take care of thermal expansion and distortion under the load. Now we know that for the aluminum alloy, it is twice the clearance we provide than the cast iron, as it has a more thermal expansion. Now we see the numerical. So this is the example. In this example, bore diameter is given 200 mm, length of stroke is given 250, speed is given 600 rpm, maximum gas pressure 4 megapascal, mean effective pressure PM, it is 0.6 megapascal, fuel consumption 0.25 kg per brake power per hour. L by D ratio for bush is small end, for connecting rod is 1.5. So this is the given data, and we have to assume suitable data to find out all the dimensions of piston. First we see the piston head. The piston head, or it is a crown top portion, we see the formula to calculate the thickness by strength basis, and by thermal consideration we can calculate the thickness of piston head. So by using the strength consideration, we calculate the thickness. TH D is equal to D under root 3 P max by 16 sigma B, and we get value 27.39. To calculate the thickness on the basis of thermal consideration, the brake mean effective pressure we calculate, and we know that the fuel consumption, it is given in per hour, so we can convert it into per second. Then the next assumption we make, that the ratio of heat absorbed by the piston to the heat developed in the cylinder, it is 5% we take, so it is the value of C is 0.05. Calorific value for the diesel, it is 44,000 kilojoule per kg. From this we calculate capital H. We know that if it is a grey cast iron, the temperature difference is 220 degrees Celsius, and the thermal conductivity factor K is 46.6 W per m per degree Celsius. From this we calculate the thickness, and we get 27.95. Almost both the thicknesses are very close, so we take 28 mm. Next is piston rib and cup. Again by the standard correlation we calculate the thickness of the piston rib. As we know that the thickness is more than 6 mm, we require the rib, so we assume the ribs are 4 numbers we are taking, and then we calculate the thickness. So it is in between 9.33 to 14 mm, so we select 12 mm. And as we know that the ratio is less than 1.5 L by D ratio, so we require the curve, we have to provide it. So this radius of the cup is 0.7 of cylinder bore, so we get 140 mm. Next is the piston rings. Assumptions we are making for the piston rings, as no data is given in the numerical. So we assume material is grey cast iron and number of piston rings, compression rings are 3, oil scraper rings are 2. Now to calculate the radial width again, that is small b, we get by the formula again, that is a standard correlation d under root 3 pw by sigma t. Pw, that is allowable radial pressure on the cylinder wall, it is not given, so we assume it is 0.04 megapascal. Sigma t for cast iron material we again take it is 100 megapascal. From this we calculate the b, radial width, it is 7 mm. Axial thickness, it is height of the piston ring, that is h, and it is 0.7 b to b, so it is in between 4.9 to 7 mm, so we select 6 mm. Limiting or minimum thickness of piston rings, as we know that the piston rings taking 5, so we calculate h minimum, it is 4 mm, so it is whatever the h, it is more than h minimum, so it is in the acceptable limit. Now gap between the pre ends, so before assembly the gap is 3.5 times the axial width to 4 times the axial width, so it is 24.5 to 28 mm, so we select 26 mm. Then gap after assembly, it is 0.002d to 0.004d, so it is 0.4 to 0.8, so we select 0.6 mm, it's less than 1 mm. Width of top land, h1, width of the top land, again it is depends on whatever the thickness of piston head, so it is almost thickness to the piston head, or maybe 1.2 times the piston head, so it is 28 to 33.6, so we select 30 mm. Next is the width of ring grooves, h2 again it is 0.75 h to h, this is nothing but the axial height of the piston ring, so it is 4.5 to 6 mm, so we select 5 mm. Now the thickness of the piston barrel at the top end, means at the groove portion, that is T3, and by the standard correlation we get 17.9 to 18 mm. And T4, we know that at the skirt portion the thickness of the barrel, it is 25% or maybe to 35% of the top end thickness, so it is 4.5 to 6.3, so we select 6 mm. And next is the piston skirt. So from the gas pressure and we equate with the bearing force, we calculate the length of the skirt, and when we equating these two, we have to make few assumption again. We require the bearing pressure, so we assume that it is 0.4 megapascal, and ratio of side thrust on the liner to the maximum gas load on the piston is, we assume it is mu value, it is 0.1. From this we get the length of skirt, it is 157, so we take the next value, it is 160 mm. Length of ring section, now we see in the figure, length of ring section, total ring section, it is the middle portion of piston, so it is 5h plus 4h2. H, we know that that is the axial thickness, as axial thickness of the ring groove, and again h2, it is nothing but whatever the gap between the two consecutive ring grooves. So from this we get the length of ring section, it is 50 mm. So total length of the piston is whatever the length of top land plus length of ring section plus length of skirt portion, so we get it is 240 mm. Standard correlation, it should be in d to 1.5d, so it is in between 200 to 300 mm. So whatever we get 240 mm, it is again in the satisfactory limit. Next is the piston pin. So for piston pin, again we make few assumptions. The bearing pressure we take it is 30 megapascal, and whatever the permissible tensile stress for piston pin material, it is 140 Newton per mm square. Again we equate with the bearing pressure with the gas pressure, and from this we calculate the outer diameter of the piston pin, and that we get 52.84, but as we consider a hollow pin, so we increase almost 25%, so it is, we get the d naught value, it is 70 mm. So we get the mean diameter of the buses, it is 1.4 times the D naught for gray cast iron material. So it is 98, or maybe we directly take 100 mm. Now when we consider the bending consideration, we know that sigma b is equal to m by z. So we calculate mb, it is, we get 3141.59 into 10 raised to 3 Newton mm. And from this, again sigma b we know already, so from this actually we calculate inner diameter di. So whatever the inner diameter of piston pin, and we get it is 50 mm. So what are the outcomes of today's learning? Basically, we learn what are the different functions of the piston, what are the different material it is used for piston and piston components, and how to apply the design concepts or maybe the consideration to find out the dimension of piston and piston components with suitable examples. So we take one numerical also, and we also see what are the assumptions we have to make during the design. Thank you.